So, James Byles, welcome to the Disenfranchised podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good, thank you. I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to do something local to where I live. And I've always maintained a house in Portsmouth on the south coast, in
Yeah.
Southsea, the posh part. Is it posh? No, it's just a nice part. So I decided I wanted to do something local, and I looked at lots and lots of different franchises, and I looked at lots of other businesses that I could acquire or invest in. And I still invest in a couple of businesses, but I needed something that kept me busy. I didn't want to run a business.
Why did you have a look at franchises? Sorry to interrupt, but
Because what I didn't want to do is I had enough of building startups.
okay.
Actually, if I knew then what I know now, then actually what I've done is built a startup. But I didn't want to go in and create my own business because it takes year, 2-3 years to get traction. And I'm quite happy to work hard, but I also wanted to do something in my local area. I mean, even give an example. I've got thousands of contacts on LinkedIn, but very, very small part of that was local to me until I took this franchise on. So I didn't want to do the commute anymore. So whether the commute be into London on the train, on that awful service from South Western Rail, or whatever they're going to be called soon. It's about second or third acquisition they've been through. I didn't want to do that commute anymore. London's changed immensely. I don't want to be in and around London too much at the moment because of some of the difficulties there are in London. And I just decided I want to do something local. So no more commuting to London, no more jumping on a plane on a Monday morning and ended up sleeping in a hotel room and, staring at the walls, drinking too much red wine on your own.
Yeah.
I just decided I want to do something local, and I only looked at local franchises. Obviously, with my background in sales and technology, that would be a perfect match. And I spent a good 6 months looking before I found this. And actually, it was, you could say it's fortuitous or you could say it was luck, but I found it's easy as they found me. So it was almost like, two ships passing and we went, oh, hello. and it's just worked out. It was, I was looking for something that gave me the ability to do something very different in my local area. They were looking for someone to do a franchise in this area. So we danced around the handbags for a bit and, we dated and here we are.
So I want to come back to that in a moment. Dated for a while, but what sort of franchises were you looking for? Obviously, something that would allow you to be pretty local. But was there a technology theme to them? Were you looking at restaurant?
No.
What sort of things were you looking at?
I really wanted to deal with local businesses rather than the general public.
Why was that?
Because I've still got quite a lot of knowledge and I've still got quite a lot of ability to help businesses grow. So I wanted something that I could get involved in that also worked with people that I like to help them grow their business. I know that sounds really fake, but it's true. Every single new client I've taken, I love the people I'm working with and I'm trying to help them grow their business. At the same time, I'm selling them a website. And by the way, our websites are not expensive. So this is never, this is something I want to do. And you have the ability here to earn a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But for me, it's not necessarily about earning. It's about helping. And again, that sounds really fake, but that's actually really true.
No, but listening back to your story and kind of what you put the key to your success down to, and even when you got to those senior level roles, you wanted to have that direct feedback, right? So you could get it right, so you could tailor that your solution to those individuals, and that's a massive thing in sales that I think people miss is they just try and sell the product, like you said before. But
outcomes,
I think that's just part of who you are. I mean, yes, you've had this big successful career going around, but all the way through, you've tried to keep that connection with people and work with people that you like and be personable. So it doesn't surprise me to hear that that's still ringing true today.
I've got some clients, some new clients or customers that I've taken since I've been doing this. I've only been doing this 6 months, by the way. And they're just some of the nicest people I've met in a long time. And I got one customer, and I won't mind me mentioning you, called the Care Whisperer. And they're two of the nicest people that are working all the hours God sends in the care industry. And they want to help evolve the care industry, especially around caring for patients with dementia. And their website is about selling products to people that care for people that need help. So it's family members and they're not in it for the money. I mean, I get they probably want to make millions out of it, but you only got to read some of the blogs this guy writes and just know he cares deeply. and it's just it makes me feel very, very honoured to work with them, if I'm honest. But also, I'm now working from home all the time. Now, I worked from home a lot in the past. Obviously, the commute wasn't every day when I was working corporate. But yeah, I get to, if I go to a customer now, I might have to drive half an hour to the edge of my region. Whereas, in the past, I might have to fly across to New York for 3 days to see a customer.
Yeah.
So it's very different. It's a very different world, but one I'm thoroughly enjoying. So, if you get someone that comes in and think they're going to be to do this franchise, sit in a little ivory tower and pull some strings. No, this is a very hands-on franchise. Having said that, I look at some of my peers in some of the other regions, in Gloucester, for example, where he's got an office and he's got people working for him, but he's been doing this 8 years, and he's got that regular revenue coming through the door, because the one thing about this is a recurring revenue franchise as well. Oh, I should have pointed that out. This is not a one-off, you get X amount of pounds because you've done something. What I loved about this as well was the recurring revenues. So it's constantly drip feeding into your bank account. And the guys that have made a success out of this are the ones that focus on longevity. So don't go and do these big projects that are worth 10, 15, 20,000 pound each, which, by the way, in my old days was, not big.
Yeah.
But focus on lots and lots of the small ones, because that regular drip feed of revenue comes into your bank account. And that, again, I really liked as well. So a lot of the a lot of my peer group who are in some of the regions, they've got real much more established businesses with people that do the stuff that I'm doing, because they've built up that regular revenue income stream for a long time. I don't have that luxury at the moment. I've broken even. In fact, I broke even, I think, in the first 6 weeks. So I got my franchise fee back really, really quickly.
So websites, was that within your sphere of knowledge before joining It's Easy? And if not, what was the training like, and how kind of deep does it go? Because I imagine the sales side, to some degree, you've got covered, right? You know how to sell, but it's what are you selling? What is the product? Yeah. What is the product, right? And how can you shape that to your clients' needs? So, I guess talk me through a little bit about the training and how deep is your knowledge going into developing a website, or how deep does it need to be?
You don't need any knowledge, really. I mean, I'm lucky enough that I know technology, but my technology knowledge is at a very sort of high level, in as much as I know all these things come together. So I know about websites, of course I do, and I also know the technology that runs them. More importantly, I know the data centers and how the data centers interact. Yeah. I know about failover and disaster recovery. I know how they're connected, because that's what I did. What I didn't know anything about was a website and the fact that, you've got if you want a scrolling banner or a carousel on the website, this is what you do. I didn't know any of that. I didn't need to. To some degree, I still don't, but you get to know it because clients say, "Oh, I want it to be flashy and I want it to look ooh." So you don't need to have any knowledge. The training is exceptional. It's very intense. So you go down to head office for 5 days, and boy, do they make you work. Lovely people. I've got no complaints. There's a few tips I'd give any potential franchisee. Don't try and take it all at once, because your brain will explode. In the evenings, don't go back to your room in the hotel and try and reflect on everything you've done that day. But you can come back a few weeks later and just refresh and reflect. The guys in the head office will help you. So I tried to learn everything in 5 days, and I now realise some of the things they said to me at the time were probably for my own benefit. And I think even now, 6 months in, I'm still learning every day. And that's another thing, right? I wanted to do something where I'm learning. I have a thirst for knowledge even now. I want to learn. I want to expand my own horizons. So I love the fact now that I can have a conversation about how to build an e-commerce platform with a payment gateway to Stripe, and utilising all the sorts of third parties you can. I couldn't have talked like that 6 months ago. So yeah, you get to, the first day with the customer is the first customer meeting. You just boom. My first customer meeting, they wanted a demo, and I'd forgotten how to use demo, the editor, on the website. But I just phoned the guys up in head office, and they did it for me on a Zoom call.
Nice.
So they're always there to help. I've also learned the hard way: don't bombard them with emails. Pick the phone up and call them, because because you get instant advice on the spot. You send them an email, they're so busy they might forget it. So there's
It just
lots
goes
of
into a ticketing system with
uh,
any support team, doesn't it?
pretty much, and you don't get the same sort of um, personal touch that you get. And the guys in head office are just really good. What hasn't worked for me, I've been very, very quick to recognise, and I've stopped it. So networking is critical. You need to join as many local networking groups as you can, but find the right networking group, like Business Buzz, and there's one called the Business Networking Extravaganza. It's just fantastic. You just go and talk to people. Everybody there is happy to talk to you because they're trying to, build their network. And it's not about selling to them; it's about selling through them a lot of the time.
Mm.
And that takes time and effort, and you have to put the hard yards in for that one. But warm calling does work. And I've said this even when I was running a sales force of 90 people. Cold calling isn't dead, okay? But it's almost dead. Warm calling is very much alive. And so warm calling, people need to know who you are when you're calling them. So they might have seen your advert. They might have seen some of your banner advertising on Google Ads, or they might have seen a couple of nurturing emails from you, or they've seen you present at an expo or a conference. So when
Yeah.
you call them and say, "Hi, it's James from It's Easy," they go, "Who? What are you calling me for?" Boom. Or when you get the F off as well. I've had that a few times.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you just got to make sure that you're targeting people that you suspect, and it's all you can ever do is suspect, will take your call appropriately. And you might not be selling at that particular moment either. You just need to make sure that at some stage in the future, they might need you or they might call you first. One thing that I'm still measuring the impact on is leaflet dropping. And
Okay.
leaflet dropping is usually, you're dropping leaflets into people's houses. So you're effectively sending people junk mail. And it hasn't worked in some areas, but it's worked in others. And I don't know why
It's
that is.
interesting.
Yeah, so I'm still analysing that at the moment. And as I say, at the moment, it's a bit like it's like throwing mud at the wall and seeing what sticks. But I know what doesn't work at the moment. There's some things I think work and other things I still need to investigate. What does work, 100%, is networking.
Yeah. I think that's consistent through most B2B businesses that I see. The networking side really makes difference and I think a big part of it is because people get to see the person first, and then like you say, some referrals might come about even if they're not right, but seeing that person first allows you then to have that warm call later on down the line, which makes it a lot easier. I I've talked about it a lot with clients that I work with, that putting your social media presence out there is not about selling as much as
Yeah,
possible. It's about helping people get to know who you are, so that when
yeah.
you do have that paid advert go out, they take a look because they trust who you are and what you're doing, and think, well, this could be interesting. It's a nice person. They seem to have a interest at heart of everybody. So yeah, it's the same kind of thing with networking. It's anything like that. It's the whole PR thing first, isn't it? In some
It is.
ways.
And you are really running your own business here. This is a true franchise. You
Yeah.
get a lot of product support and you get a lot of customer support, but it's up to you. The buck stops with the franchisee. So, it's up to me to make sure that I've got the right pipeline. And again, part of the franchise is you get a really, really brilliant CRM tool, which helps you manage your pipeline, but also your funnel, because you're also always going to be putting a lot into the funnel. It's called a funnel for a reason. And they give you all those tools, so you get really, really good support and training on a CRM platform, on the product, on internal systems, on pricing, on things like how to analyze the effectiveness of a client's website. You get all those tools. Yeah, I can't fault it. I can't fault it. I
So
just wish they'd guarantee you some business in the first couple of months. But they can't do that, right? There is no
no,
such thing as a perfect world.
no, exactly. But did you know all of this stuff before you invested? Because um, it sounds like it kind of is the ideal franchise for you, right? There's a little bit of tech knowledge in the background that you've got that maybe helps it a touch, maybe, but it seems to work well for somebody who's got the drive and energy and passion to connect with people, to shape a product to the requirement with the client. So pigeonholing it really simplistically, sales and marketing people I could see doing really well in this franchise. So did you realize that and know that before coming into it,
Pretty
or
much, yeah. Having said that, though, again, there are people in my peer group who had no sales experience, but they did have a really good local network. I don't think every franchisee is going to have a tick in every box. As long as you've got one of those things, you either got local knowledge, you've got some technology experience, or you've got sales background. I wouldn't suggest that, if you're a florist, you come in and do this from day one, because I think you'd struggle. But if you've got a drive and an appetite for hard work, and you want to, talk to people and meet people, and you really want to help people, then this is the right franchise. It's not right for everyone,
No.
but I am really pleased with my decision. And I would say to anyone that's considering it, look at the pros and look at the cons and make the informed decision. For me, it's just working out. It's hard work. It's sometimes you want to scream, but you can say that about anything in life.
Yeah.
But the enjoyment that I've got out of it is great. Yeah, and actually, the earnings are okay as well. As I said, I personally haven't taken a penny out because I keep investing it back into the business. But yeah, the return is nice.
So yes, final question before I go into a few quick fire ones. I just wanted to understand, what's the future for you with this business? Where do you see
Love it.
your It's Easy franchise going?
Well, I don't want to do this forever. That's a dead cert. But I do want my son to take this over.
Nice.
So there is a legacy plan here. And I've got two sons, both of whom are really at the start of their sales career. Both decided they want to move in sales. I wonder why. Obviously, the lifestyle and the upbringing and the holidays and the stuff they've had, they can see the benefits of it. So, yeah, that's my plan, to do this for as long as I want to do it. I want to make this a success. I want to expand my territory. And I know when the guys at head office see this, they're going to say, James, wait, stop being impatient. We're going to make this one successful. But the one to the left of me is available, and the one to the north of me is available. So I want at some stage to get those as well. And I want to hand it over to my kids. It's as simple as that. I'd like this to be longevity and sustainable.
Awesome. I love that. I love the fact that the head office guys are sort of slowing you down as well and making sure you're doing it right, because it's easy to go flying all guns. And I'm sure you temper yourself anyway, but it's good to know that they've got your interests at heart as well, right?
There's a couple of times I said, right, there's a conference in Southampton, can I go? And they went, yeah, you can go, but you can't necessarily have any deals you take if we decide to take a franchisee in that area. So yeah, I'm just going to focus on the PO postcodes for now. But there is, Southampton, Bournemouth, and Guildford. They're all good job. but as Alex, the franchise manager, keeps saying to me, make Portsmouth a success.
My final question for you is, if you were sitting opposite somebody who's about to invest in a franchise, whether it's yours or It's Easy's or any other franchise out there, and you're only allowed to give them one piece of advice, what piece of advice would that be?
Research. Don't underestimate the hard work needed to build a business, whether it's a franchise business or not. If in doubt, take the plunge. I've got no regrets about doing this whatsoever. But ask the hard questions. What I loved about the guys, from Adam right the way up to Adam's the guy that runs the support team, and all the people that work with him, they're all fantastic. Cameron and Lee, they're also helpful. Right the way up to Oscar and everyone, they're just so helpful. You can ask questions, and they might be dumb questions. And I always say, I know it's a dumb question, and they always give me the answer. They probably curse me behind my back, but they're always so helpful. So before the franchise, ask the questions you want to ask. Make no assumptions.
Is there one question that you think's the key question to ask in doing that research?
If it's a new region, just make sure you understand what the makeup is of this small to medium base you're going after. Research is critical. Don't rely on everything that you're told. Not because anyone's going to lie to you, but just make sure you've got it all up there. You understand what your pitch needs to be and how you're going to do it. Don't walk into this and just think, oh, it's all just going to come to me. Don't underestimate how much work's involved.
Yeah, no, that's interesting and important, and I imagine over time those inbound leads will go up. But yeah, you're right. From day one, starting a new business, No one's coming to you. You got to get out there and make it happen.
If
No,
you're a
no one's sitting there waiting for you to start that business, are they? Really?
exactly that. If you're a self-starter who enjoys hard work, that enjoys meeting people, that wants to have some fun, and that's critical for me, having fun, and you want to learn a lot very quickly, what a great opportunity this is. And by the way, this is a massive opportunity. You know, I'm at the end of my career looking for something where I can give back. We've also got some franchisees who are a lot younger. They're at the start of their career and they're in it for different reasons, but they're still here for the right reasons because there's an opportunity to earn, learn, and have a lot of fun doing it at the same time.
Awesome. Perfect way to wrap it up. James, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you.
You're very
I could
welcome.
have asked you a million more questions around your career and sales, but yeah, thank you so much for your time. It's been a real pleasure. And yeah, I hope you have a good one. Good
Thank
luck with the
you.
business as well, of course.
Thanks.